Aiden sat on the edge of the old wooden dock, watching ripples spread across the lake. He held his phone in one hand, its screen dark and silent. Each evening he came here, hoping for a message from Alina, but the screen stayed empty. Since she moved to the distant colony on Proxima B, every day felt heavier. The laughter they shared, the long talks under starlight, all of it, now felt like a story from someone else's life. He closed his eyes and breathed in the cool evening air. Back on Earth, the air smelled of pines and fresh rain. On Proxima B, Alina had said the atmosphere carried hints of minerals and salt, strange but beautiful. Aiden reached into his pocket and pulled out the small silver bracelet she gave him before leaving. Its smooth surface reflected the fading sun. He turned it over in his hand, remembering her smile when she slid it onto his wrist. That memory was a bright spark in his chest, mixed with a deep ache. He tried to call her many times. Once, the line opened for a second, and he heard static in her voice, soft but hurried. "I'll reach out soon," she said, and then the connection cut. After that, nothing. No voice messages, no texts, no sign that she missed him. Aiden wondered if she had found new friends, new routines. Perhaps on Proxima B she was already living without him. The thought burned like cold fire. A soft breeze lifted strands of his dark hair across his forehead. He looked down at the water and thought of the day they first met. He was a young recruit at the Interplanetary Academy, and she was a brilliant engineer. They worked on a spaceship model together, laughing as they added tiny decals and painted stripes. Their hands brushed, and Aiden remembered the quick jolt of hope that shot through him. They stayed late that night, talking about everything from ancient Earth myths to the colonists' dreams on new worlds. That night had changed him. Aiden learned he could open his heart without fear. Humanity was full of possibility, people who dared to dream, to build, to explore. Alina inspired him. To believe that? Now without her, he felt less bold, less alive. He missed her guidance, her laughter, the way she pressed his hand in hers when he doubted himself. A sound behind him made Aiden turn. A small robot drone hovered by the dock, its soft blue eye blinking. Delivered a message packet, no doubt. Another supply shipment from Proxima B. He walked over and retrieved a thin envelope sealed with a star emblem. Inside was a single sheet of translucent paper. He held it carefully, as if it might crumble. The paper was blank. No words, no drawing, no line of hope. His chest tightened. Even in silence, the message felt loud. She had forgotten to write. He slid the envelope into his jacket and headed back to his apartment. The streets were quiet, lit by gentle lamps that cast long shadows. He wondered if reconnecting with Alina meant traveling to Proxima B himself. The journey would take months, and the cost would be high. But the thought of being near her even, in the same docking bay, made his heart beat faster. Every fiber of his being longed for her presence. At home, he sat at his desk and opened his datapad. He scrolled through old messages, the jokes they shared, the hopeful plans they made. He typed a new message, then erased it. He tried again, writing about the peaceful lake, about how much he missed her laugh. I paused, unsure if his words were enough. Finally, he pressed send. The pad glowed, showing a tiny icon of an envelope in flight. He stared at it, nervous and hopeful. He refused to let silence win. Humanity thrived because its people reached out, across distance and doubt. He would keep trying, no matter how many nights passed under silent skies. Aiden believed in second chances, in the power of a single message to change everything. He imagined Alina reading his words, feeling his longing, and reaching back through the void. That night, he placed the silver bracelet on his bedside table and lay back. Looking up at the ceiling that mirrored the stars outside, he let his thoughts drift, not to loss, but to possibility. Tomorrow, he would send another message, and the day after that. He would show Alina that distance could not dim his hope or his admiration, because humanity pushed forward, even when it felt alone. Aiden closed his eyes, and for the first time in weeks, felt the faint glow of confidence settle in his chest. He would not give up. Aiden woke before dawn and slipped out into the cool morning air. The lake's surface was still dark, and mist hovered just above the water. He carried his datapad and the small silver bracelet Alina had given him. Today, he decided, he would try something new. He walked along the shore, watching the stars fade as the sun began to rise. On Proxima B, Alina had described mornings full of violet light and gentle breezes. He closed his eyes and imagined her standing beside him, whispering about those strange colors. The memory brought a tender ache to his chest and reminded him how much he wanted to bridge the distance between them. Back at his apartment, Aiden checked his message again. The message he sent last night still showed delivered with no read indicator. He sighed but refused to let that stop him. He opened a new document and began writing a longer note. He described the sunrise in detail, the way the mist curled like smoke, the moment when the first rays of sunlight turned the water to liquid gold. He wrote about how those simple wonders reminded him of Elena's curiosity and warmth. When he finished, he recorded his voice reading the note. He pressed the record button and spoke slowly, letting his voice carry the hope he felt. Alina, I miss your laughter. I miss our talks. I wish I could stand beside you as the sun rises on Proxima. Till I can reach you, let me share this sunrise. He saved the file and attached it to the note, then hit send. In the silent apartment, he waited. The pad glowed as it transmitted his message across the stars. He imagined Alina listening, smiling as she heard his voice. Even if she did not reply right away, he hoped the sound of his words would remind her he cared to keep his mind active. Aiden decided to rebuild the little spaceship model he and Alina had painted together. He set up the workbench by the window and unpacked the parts. Each piece felt familiar in his hands, like a fragment of their shared story. He painted the tiny stripes with care. Choosing Earth Blue and Proxima Purple to honor both worlds, they loved Dot as he worked. He thought of humanity's promise, people who built and dreamed, who reached out across emptiness to find connection. He felt that promise in every brushstroke and in every word he sent to Alina. The hours passed quickly, and before he knew it, the spaceship stood whole on its stand, a symbol of what they had built together. Just as he was placing the final uplight, the datapad chimed. A new message had arrived. His heart pounded as he tapped the screen. Elena's name appeared. He opened the file attachment first, his own voice speaking of sunrises. Tears blurred his vision as he listened again, hearing his hope carried in. His own tone, then he read her reply. Her words appeared slowly, line by line. Aiden, I heard your voice and felt home for the first time in weeks. I see the sunrise here, but it is nothing without you. I am sorry for the silence. The colony's work kept me busy, but I never forgot you. I want to share every sunrise with you through messages for now and soon in person. Aiden's chest swelled. He pressed a hand to his heart and smiled through his tears. He typed back quickly, his fingers trembling with joy. I will send you a sunrise tomorrow and the day after. I will not stop until I can stand beside you as it breaks. Thank you for coming back to me. He paused and added, I believe in us. I believe in humanity's strength to close any distance. Sent the message and watched the sent indicator shine with promise. That afternoon, Aiden walked outside again. The sky was clear now, and the lake sparkled like glass. He recorded another voice note describing every detail, the gentle lap of water against the dock, the song of distant birds waking in the reeds, and the way the sunlight danced on his silver bracelet. He spoke with cheerful warmth, making sure Alina could feel his presence across the void. He sent it, imagining her smiling as she heard his voice. The lake beside him felt less empty, filled instead with the promise of connection. He thought of all the humans who had reached across galaxies to build lasting bonds, families on other worlds. Friends separated by light years, pioneers who dared to hope even when the odds were against them. He felt proud to be one of them. That night, Aiden placed the model spaceship beside his bedside lamp. He looked at it, then at the silver bracelet lying next to his pad. The future still held unknowns. He would have to plan the long journey to Proxima B, face the costs and challenges, and wait through months of travel. Yet now he knew the journey would be worth it, because Elena had come back to him in words and in spirit. He lay down and closed his eyes. But sleep did not come right away. Dead, he replayed Elena's message in his mind and let hope fill every corner of his thoughts. Tomorrow would bring another sunrise, another message, another step toward reunion. He believed in humanity's endless drive to connect, to love, and to overcome any distance. With that belief in his heart, he finally drifted into a peaceful dream, one where he and Elena stood together on a distant world, watching a sunrise that belonged to both of them. Aiden woke before the alarm and lay still in the semi-darkness. His first thought was of Elena reading his messages, her words warming him like sunlight. He forced himself to rise. Today would be different. He would find a new way to reach her. He dressed quickly and left his apartment. The corridor lights glowed softly as he walked to the common area. There he found a small group of students gathered around a hologram projector. They were testing long-distance communication. Tools devices meant to send live images and sound across light years. Aiden paused, watching as two volunteers, stationed miles apart, spoke and gestured in real time. Their holograms floating between them. His pulse quickened. He could use this technology. He might see Elena's face as he spoke to her. Approached the group and introduced himself. They welcomed him warmly. The project leader, Colonel Zhang, explained that the system was in trial phase and available for personal use if one could help with testing. Aiden volunteered immediately. Offering to run extra tests, his heart lifted with hope. Colonel Zhang guided him to a small chamber. Inside, a round table held a sleek hologram emitter. The walls were lined with controls and status displays. Aiden studied the instructions and practiced sending his own image to a nearby receiver. His hologram flickered at first, then sharpened into focus. He raised a hand in greeting and smiled at his reflection, marveling at the technology. Next, Colonel Zhang set the receiver to Proxima Colony Station. Aiden's breath caught as the system dialed across space. The connection fee was high, but Colonel Zhang said this test run would be on the house. Lights blinked, gauges measured, signal strength, and finally, a blurred image resolved on the projector's opposite side. There was Elena, standing in her lab, hair tied back and eyes wide with surprise. "Hello, Aiden," she said softly. Her voice came through faint but clear. He recognized the curiosity and warmth in her tone. "Is this really you?" He nodded, though she could not see the gesture. "It's me." Her hologram shimmered, then she stepped forward. "I missed you too. I listen to your messages every morning. But seeing you, it's different." Aiden felt a rush of joy. He described his day so far: the sunrise by the lake, the model spaceship he built, and now this moment. Elena shared her work on the colony's terraforming project and the long hours she spent under strange skies. Their voices crossed the void, carrying hope and reconnection. After 30 minutes, the system signaled low power. Colonel Zhang tapped a control panel and said gently that the session must end. Aiden and Elena exchanged quick goodbyes, promising to send new holographic messages soon. The projector faded, and the chamber returned to silence. Aiden's heart pounded with happiness and renewed determination. He stepped out into the hallway where students congratulated him on the successful test. He thanked Colonel Zhang and offered to help improve the system's signal clarity. Colonel Zhang smiled and said, "Your passion is exactly what this project needs. Keep at it." Aiden left with a light step, feeling closer to Elena than he had in weeks. That afternoon, he returned to the lake. The water reflected the sky's pale blue and the air smelled of wet grass. He sat on a bench and pulled out his datapad. He sketched a plan for raising funds to pay for regular hologram sessions. He listed ideas, hosting a small exhibit of his and Elena's spaceship models, teaching basic engineering to neighborhood children, selling prints of his sunrise photographs. Each idea filled him with energy. He wrote, "An elderly neighbor, Mrs. Vance, walked by with her dog." She paused and watched Aiden's focused expression. "You look busy," she said kindly. Aiden smiled. I am. I'm planning something important. She nodded. Well, if you need baked goods for your exhibit or a venue for a workshop, let me know. I run the community center. His heart swelled. Thank you, Mrs. Vance. I appreciate that. He realized that reaching out to others made him feel less alone. Humanity thrived when people helped each other across distances, big or small. That evening, he met with two classmates who shared his love for exploration. They listened as he described the hologram test and his funding plan. One of them, Kira, offered to design promotional posters. The other, Marcus, volunteered to help with social media outreach. Together, they sketched a timeline, built a few. More models set up a small display at the community center and advertised the event across campus bulletin boards. Aiden felt a rush of gratitude. He looked around at his friends, people who believed in him, who shared his dream of connecting with someone far away. He thought of humanity's story, explorers who crossed oceans, pioneers who flew to the moon, settlers who built homes on alien worlds. Each step had required courage and hope. Back in his apartment, Aiden placed the hologram projector manual beside his silver bracelet and model spaceship. He closed his eyes and imagined Alina seeing him at the exhibit, hearing his voice through the projector, feeling his presence, despite the light years between them. He whispered, I'll find you, Alina, no matter the distance. He drifted to sleep with a heart full of purpose. Tomorrow, he would begin building the display, reaching out to the community and sending the first exhibit invitation to Alina via hologram. He believed in humanity's strength to bridge any gap, and he knew his own hope would guide him across the stars. Aiden woke early again, heart full of purpose. Today was the day he would set up the small exhibit at the community center. He dressed in a clean shirt and packed his backpack with the model spaceship, sunrise photographs, and the silver bracelet Alina had given him. He also carried the hologram projector manual and a tablet loaded with his holographic message. When he arrived at the community center, the doors were still locked. Mrs. Vance, the center's manager, greeted him with a warm smile and a set of keys. I'm glad you're here, she said. Let's get these tables ready. Inside, the main hall was empty and echoing. Aiden and Mrs. Vance arranged folding tables in a U-shape near the windows, where sunlight would highlight the displays. Aiden carefully placed the model spaceship in the center. He painted its name Unity in neat letters on a small placard. Around it, he set photographs of the sunrise by the lake, each one labeled with the date and a brief note about the moment he described in his messages. On the side table, he laid the silver bracelet on a velvet tray with a note, a reminder of hope and connection across the stars. Next, he set up the tablet and the small hologram emitter. He tested the connection one more time, adjusting the cables and checking the manual. When everything was ready, he tapped the screen and recorded a short invitation. Hello, Lena. I invite you to join me here at our small exhibit through this hologram. Let us celebrate what humanity can do when we reach out with hope. He saved the clip and sent it toward Proxima B. By mid-morning, members of the local community began to arrive. Some were curious parents with children. Others were neighbors who knew Aiden's family. Mrs. Vance welcomed them at the door, handing out simple flyers that read, Explore humanity's reach. Models, photos, and hologram messages. A few people asked questions. Why this exhibit? What's the story? Aiden stood beside the model, ready to explain. He spoke in clear, simple words. This spaceship model and the sunrise photos celebrate how humans dream and build, he said. We explore new worlds and still remember home. I made this exhibit to share hope with all of you and to send a message to someone very special, my friend Alina, who lives far away. His voice was steady, but inside he felt a flutter of nerves. The crowd listened politely. Then children pressed close to see the tiny spaceship and the shimmering bracelet. One little girl asked, What is that shiny band? Aiden smiled. Right. A friend gave it to me before she left, he answered. It reminds me that no matter how far we travel, we can hold on to friendship. The girl nodded solemnly, as if she understood. As noon approached, Aiden gathered everyone in front of the hologram emitter. He tapped the tablet and the machine hummed to life. Blue light filled the small display, and after a moment of static, Elena's hologram appeared. She stood in her lab, wearing a bright uniform and a gentle smile. The crowd gasped in wonder. "Hello, everyone," Elena said, her voice clear and warm. "Thank you, Aiden, for inviting me. See your models in your photos. They are beautiful." She turned toward the bracelet on display. That bracelet feels like home. The audience clapped softly, impressed by the live connection across space. Aiden felt tears in his eyes. He raised a hand and spoke to Elena. "Thank you for joining us," he said. "Your presence here, Evan, as a hologram means the world to me and to these friends." He looked at the community members and smiled. "This is what humans can. Do we build bridges of hope?" After the session ended, people mingled again, talking about the exhibit and the technology. Mrs. Vance beamed at Aiden. "You did it," she said. "You brought everyone together." Aiden nodded, his heart light. He realized that even small steps, one exhibit, one message could help him feel close to Elena and inspire others too. That evening, Aiden returned home. He carried the tablet and the bracelet, now glowing softly under the lamp. He placed them on his desk next to the spaceship model. He opened his datapad and began drafting a plan for a larger event, campus showcase with more models and a better hologram system. He noted ideas for fundraising, for teaching workshops, for sharing. Aiden woke with a quiet excitement. Today he would visit the campus administration building to ask for permission to hold a larger showcase. He dressed carefully and tucked the silver bracelet into his pocket. It felt like a talisman, a reminder of Elena and of his own hope. On campus, he carried a folder filled with his plans, sketches of display tables, photos of the community exhibit, letters of support from Mrs. Vance and Colonel Jong. He entered the bright lobby and approached the front desk. "I have an appointment with Dean Harper," he said, voice steady but hopeful. The secretary smiled and pointed down a corridor. In the dean's office, sunlight filtered through tall windows. Dean Harper reviewed Aiden's proposal, a 2-day event featuring student-built spaceship models, sunrise photography, and live hologram messages to distant friends. Aiden explained how the exhibit had brought his community together and how it could inspire others to reach out across distances. Dean Harper looked thoughtful. "This is ambitious," she said. "But humanity needs stories like yours, stories of connection and hope." She tapped her pen. "I will approve your request. You can use the Student Center Auditorium and Campus Outdoor Plaza next month." Aiden's heart leaped. He thanked her and stepped out into the warm morning air. His steps felt light, as if each one carried him closer to Elena. He paused by a flowering tree and sent a quick voice note. "Elena, I have good news. The campus will host our showcase soon. Can't wait to share it with you." He hit send, imagining her smile on Proxima B over the next week. Aiden and his friends worked late into the evenings. Kira created colorful posters, Marcus drafted social media posts, and Aiden organized workshop sessions for volunteers. They built half a dozen new model spaceships, each one painted with symbols of unity, Earth's green and blue, Proxima's violet and white. They arranged a schedule for live hologram sessions with Elena and other faraway friends. As the showcase date approached, Aiden felt both excitement and nerves. He worried that something might go wrong. The hologram link might fail, the audience might not come, or Elena might still be busy. But he refused to let doubt hold him back. Each morning, he took a moment to send Elena a sunrise photo with a few words of encouragement. Every dawn brings a chance to connect. On the first day of the event, the auditorium filled with students, faculty, and community members. Aiden stood by the door, welcoming guests with a warm smile. Model Unity stood at the center of the stage under a soft spotlight. Round it, other ships formed a circle, as if orbiting around Hope. He stepped up to the microphone. "Welcome," he began in simple English. "This showcase celebrates our human spirit. We build, we explore, and we reach out. Today, we share our stories of distance and connection." The audience listened attentively as Aiden guided them through the displays. Children and adults alike marveled at the tiny models and the sunrise photos filled with warmth. When it was time for the live hologram, Aiden led the crowd to the stage. The hologram emitter glowed blue, and after a moment, Alina appeared above the platform. Gasps and applause rose as her image solidified. She waved and said, "Hello, everyone. Thank you, Aiden, for bringing me here." Her voice echoed through the hall, clear across the stars. Aiden felt tears prick his eyes. He introduced Alina to the audience. She talked about life on Proxima B, the strange sky colors, the colony's gardens, the joy of discovery. Then she turned to Aiden. "I see your hard work. I feel your hope. One day we will build together on a new world." Her words carried across light years, and the audience cheered. After the session, the auditorium doors opened to the outdoor plaza, where more exhibits waited. Aiden guided small groups around painting stations and message-writing booths. Visitors wrote notes to friends who had moved away, tying the notes to helium balloons. Each balloon lifted into the sky, carrying wishes of love and hope. As the sun set, hundreds of balloons drifted upward, glowing in the fading light. Aiden watched them float and thought of Alina watching from Proxima B. He sent a quick message. "Look at our sky tonight. See these balloons? They carry our hope." He imagined her reading it and feeling less alone. The next day, the campus was alive with energy. Workshops on model building and hologram technology ran back to back. Aiden taught children how to paint tiny stripes and glue small fins. He saw their faces light up when they learned to send a simple hologram message to each other across the courtyard. Humanity's drive to connect shone in every smile. At the end of the second day, Aiden took the stage once more. He thanked everyone, his friends, the volunteers, the dean, and the community. Then he spoke directly to Elena's hologram. "Thank you for being my inspiration. Thank you for sharing your world with me. I promise to come to yours soon." Her hologram nodded. "And I promise to welcome you." The audience burst into applause, and Aiden felt a warmth that filled his chest. He realized that distance had only deepened his determination, and that hope could cross any void. That night, back in his apartment, Aiden placed the silver bracelet, the model ships, and the campus posters on his desk. He opened his datapad and drafted a new plan. How to save for his own trip to Proxima B. How to support Elena's work on terraforming, and how to invite more friends to join their story of connection. His fingers flew across the screen, guided by belief in humanity's capacity to overcome any distance. As he finally lay down to rest, he looked out his window at the quiet campus below. The lights still glowed in some dorm rooms. The last balloons had drifted away, and the night sky stretched wide above. He pressed the bracelet to his heart and whispered, "Tomorrow, I take another step, and every step brings me closer to you." Then he closed his eyes, comforted by the promise of reunion and by the strength of hope that defined humanity. Aiden woke with a sense of purpose, heavier than ever. The campus showcase had succeeded, but his heart knew the next step was harder. He needed to plan a journey to Proxima B. He dressed quickly and sat at his desk, bracelet in hand, and opened his datapad. Before him lay his savings plan, research notes, and the list of agencies that coordinated civilian travel between stars. He started by reviewing flight schedules. Civilian berths on cargo ships were rare and expensive. The earliest opening was in 6 months. Aiden took a deep breath. 6 months felt long, but he refused to be discouraged. He remembered how humanity built ships to cross oceans on ancient Earth. If his ancestors could sail across seas in wooden vessels, wait, and prepare for a journey across the stars. Next, he calculated costs. Food rations, life support credits, medical checks, and personal gear added up quickly. He listed every item: insulation layers for the cold of space, solar-charged lanterns, and a small communicator to receive Elena's messages. He typed each expense into a spreadsheet, watching the numbers rise. His chest tightened, but he reminded himself, human inventiveness always found solutions to raise funds. Aiden reached out to sponsors. He drafted letters to science foundations and exploration societies, explaining his connection with Alina and the exhibit that celebrated interplanetary friendship. They focused on the exhibit's success and its message: people can bridge any distance. He attached photos of models, hologram screenshots, and testimonials from attendees. He felt proud as he clicked send, trusting that others would share his belief. With the letters mailed, Aiden turned to training. Space travel demanded physical fitness and technical skills. He enrolled in a voluntary simulation program at the academy. There, cadet trainers guided him through low-gravity drills and emergency protocols. He floated in a harness chamber while instructors simulated system failures. Each exercise tested his patience and courage, but he pushed himself, determined. To be ready when his passage was confirmed, evenings found him in the library. Studying ship schematics and life support manuals, he highlighted sections on oxygen recycling and radiation shielding. He practiced maintenance tasks on a small simulator. When a panel flickered on the training console, he fixed it, heart racing with triumph. Every repair reminded him of Elena's engineering strength and his own capacity to learn and adapt. As weeks passed, replies arrived. A local foundation offered a small grant for cultural exchange projects. A private donor pledged to cover part of the life support deposit. Caden's eyes shone as he added each contribution to his spreadsheet. He sent thank you messages expressing gratitude and emphasizing the importance of human connection across worlds. He placed each reply letter in a special box, a growing testament to collective hope. One afternoon, his datapad chimed. An official from the Interstellar Transport Agency wrote to confirm a berth on the freighter Odyssey Dawn. The departure window opened in 4 months. Aiden's heart pounded. For months meant time to prepare skills and health checks. It meant for more cycles of sunrises he would share with Elena from afar. It meant hope transformed into reality. Stood and paced, imagining the day he would board the ship. He pictured Elena waiting to greet him at the colony's docking port. He pictured their reunion beneath Proximus Violet's sunrise. Aiden smiled through tears. He believed in humanity's drive to explore and connect. He believed in small steps that led to great voyages. And he believed in his own determination. That evening, Aiden returned to the simulator for a final certification test. The trainer set. Aiden woke to the gentle hum of the freighter Odyssey Dawn. The soft vibration ran through the metal walls like a heartbeat. He pushed himself up from the narrow bunk and touched the silver bracelet beside him. He felt its smooth weight, and remembered Elena's promise, "I will welcome you." He took a deep breath. Today, the ship would begin its final descent toward Proxima Colony Station. His heart pounded with excitement and a quiet fear. He stepped into the corridor, where crew members in simple gray uniforms moved with practiced calm. Aiden nodded to the chief engineer, Moreau, who offered a brief smile. The freighter was designed for cargo, not passengers, so the living quarters were small. Yet every corner showed human ingenuity: folding tables, stacked storage compartments. In a small greenhouse module where fresh greens grew under LED lights, Aiden admired how people found ways to tend to life even in deep space. As they approached the colony's transport corridor, the captain called all passengers to the observation deck. Aiden joined the small group and faced the wide viewport. Beyond the glass, Proxima glowed with its violet atmosphere and swirling clouds. The colony's domes and tower spires looked tiny but vibrant against the planet's surface. Aiden's chest tightened. He could hardly believe he would soon step onto that world. The ship shuddered gently as it entered the planet's magnetic field. Alarms remained silent. Only soft light shifted as thrusters fired. Aiden gripped the railing and whispered into his datapad, "Elena, I see your world. I am coming." He activated the transmitter, sending a short hologram clip of himself. Standing before the viewport, he hoped she would see him. Even as the signal passed through the colony's control channel, moments later, his communicator beeped. A small holla of Elena appeared on a wrist display. She stood in a docking control room, her hair loose and eyes bright. "Aiden," she said, voice shaking with joy, "I see you." The freighter's approach slowed and docking clamps extended. Elena waved, and Aiden felt tears prick his eyes. For a second, the distance disappeared. Could feel her presence in the tiny light of the hologram. After docking, the crew opened the airlock doors. Fresh colonial air, heated and filtered, flowed into the corridor. Aiden inhaled deeply. Scent was faintly floral, mixed with spice. He took his backpack and stepped onto the station's metal walkway. Alina stood at the end, wearing her uniform and a wide grin. He froze, unsure what to do first. She stepped forward and reached out. Aiden hesitated for a heartbeat. He did not know if he could touch her through the force fields and docking barriers. Then he saw a small opening in the railing. Without thought, he leaned over and held the bracelet out to her. "For you," he said softly. "You gave this to me. I give it back, so you always remember how much I care." Alina closed her eyes and took the bracelet. She slipped it onto her. Riston looked up at him. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice broke, and tears fell. Aiden felt a rush of relief. It found his way to reconnect. He pressed a finger to the glass, and she matched it with hers on the other side. Their touch was separated by a pain, but the moment felt whole. That evening, they walked together through the colony's central garden dome. Bioluminescent plants glowed in gentle blues and greens. Aiden held Elena's hand through the barrier, marveling at the way small glass connectors allowed them to share warmth. He told her about the journey, the low-gravity drills, the community showcase, the silent nights on the freighter. She listened with awe, her eyes shining with pride. Under the dome's starlit ceiling, Aiden spoke quietly. "I was afraid I would arrive and not know how to say hello." Alina laughed softly. "You found a way," she said. "You built bridges models. Messages, exhibits, ships. You reminded me of why we left Earth, to connect and to grow." He looked around at the glowing plants and felt humanity's promise echo in every leaf. They stood in silence, watching bioluminescent blooms pulse gently. The colony's hum blended with the freighter's engines in the distance. Aiden realized that distance had taught him patience and creativity. He had learned to reach out with hope and to trust that other humans would help. Alina squeezed his hand and said, "Now you are here. Let's build something new together." Aiden smiled, his sadness of long separation fading like the memory of a distant sunset. He believed in humanity's spirit, the will to travel, to invent, and to connect. In that moment, beneath alien stars, he knew hope could cross any gulf. With Alina by his side, he felt ready to begin the next chapter of their story together. Aiden woke before dawn in his small quarters on Proxima Colony Station. Today was his first full day with Alina by his side. He dressed quickly and stepped onto the observation deck. Beyond the glass, he could see the colony's domes glowing softly under the violet sky. His chest tightened with joy and purpose. Alina joined him, holding 2 cups of warm herbal tea. She handed one to Aiden and smiled. "Good morning," she said. Her voice was gentle, like Earth's sunrise. Aiden took a sip and let the warmth spread through him. He looked at the distant horizon of this new world and felt hopeful. They walked together to the colony's workshop hub. Lena led him through rows of workbenches and glowing tool racks. "This is where I design new life. Support systems," she explained. Aiden gazed at the blueprints on the wall diagrams of recycled water filters and air circulators. He marveled at human creativity in a place so far from home. At a central bench, Alina showed him a half-finished prototype. "I want to shape this for our next terraforming stage," she said, her eyes shining. Aiden ran a finger along the metal frame. He remembered his own hands on the model spaceships back on Earth. He felt proud to stand here now, ready to help. Alina handed him a small spanner. "Try tightening this joint," she said. Aiden nodded and placed the tool on the bolt. He felt the same thrill he had in Academy simulations, but now every action mattered for real. He turned the spanner until the joint clicked. Lena watched, impressed. Aiden felt his confidence grow. They spent hours side by side. Lena explained complex ideas in simple words, and Aiden listened with full attention. He asked questions and offered suggestions. Together, they adjusted a sensor and tested a pressure valve. When the valve held steady, they both exhaled in relief. Their teamwork felt natural, as if distance had never come between them. In the afternoon, they took a break on a balcony overlooking the settlement gardens. Strange trees with blue leaves rustled in the soft wind. Lena handed Aiden a datapad showing his sunrise photographs from Earth. He flipped through the images, each one a memory of hope. She pointed to one where dawn light touched the lake. I want to see this in person. One day, she said. Aiden smiled. And I want to see Proxima's dawn on foot, he replied. He sketched a plan on the pad, a travel route from the station to a lakeside valley he had read about. Elena's eyes widened. Let's go when we finish the project, she said. He felt his heart leap. Together, they could explore new horizons. That evening, the colony's community hall filled with neighbors and friends. Aiden and Elena presented their progress, demonstrating the newly fixed valve and outlining the next steps for the life support upgrade. The audience asked questions and clapped when the presentation ended. Aiden looked at Elena as they received praise. Their partnership inspired others. After the meeting, Mrs. Vance's hologram flickered in from Earth. She sent them a message. I am so proud of both of you. Keep building, keep connecting. Aiden and Elena waved to the tiny projection. Aiden whispered, See? Our hope reaches all the way home. Elena squeezed his hand and they shared a quiet laugh. Later, Aiden returned to their quarters. Aiden placed the silver bracelet on Elena's dresser and arranged his sunrise photos on the wall. Each picture reminded him of where he came from and why he ventured so far. He stepped back and admired the Walla blend of Earth's dawns and Proximas. Violet nights. Elena joined him again and wrapped her arms around his waist. They stood close, looking at the memories side by side. Aiden rested his hand on her shoulder and said softly, Distance taught me patience, and hope led me here. Elena turned to him and smiled, and together we will build the future. Before sleep, Aiden recorded a short voice note for Earth friends. He spoke of new challenges and triumphs. He described how humans on two worlds could learn from each other. He ended with a message of hope. Wherever we go, we carry our courage and our care for one another. Saved the file and sent it. As Aiden lay down, he looked out at the violet sky sprinkled with distant stars. He felt at home in both worlds, Earth and Proxima. He closed his eyes and held Elena's hand in his thoughts. His journey had begun with sadness and doubt, but now it bloomed with HFY spirit, human courage, creativity, and hope shining across any distance. He drifted to sleep knowing that together they would face every sunrise.